For example, everywhere we go, people praise my wife for her beauty. And I'm just there, I'm like, you don't see how handsome I am. Can't you talk about this handsome man? No.
Very handsome.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mike and Christelle podcast. Today we are talking about competition versus cooperation in marriage.
Couples can fall into competition
Yes.
sometimes. So let's say you guys have small children.
Yes,
and
yes.
we all know if you have small children, which they are a blessing, but
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
a lot of work.
Yes.
And so babies cry at night. Baby
Yeah.
needs change, need feeding, need all these things
Yeah.
at night and
Yeah.
all that. And so sometimes you can fall into competition of saying, oh, I didn't change the baby. You didn't change the baby more. I
Yes.
did last
I worked
night.
hard during the
I worked
day. I'm
hard,
tired.
you know,
It's
I'm
your
tired.
turn. And all that.
So-
yeah.
In a way that is like, hey, you did not do enough.
Yes.
I did a lot.
Well, I did 3 times. You also go
Yeah.
do 3 times.
Yeah. So
And
that,
it's funny because you love one another. Why compete? Because the essence of love, you know, you love one another,
When
but
you
you
brought-
can still fall into competition
you
despite
brought
the
an alien in the house. No, yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, you love each other, but you fall into competition because, well,
you're humans.
you're humans and you have issues.
Yes. And it's important to identify competition, like with chores in the house. You know, around the house, you can find yourself competing about who is doing more and who is not doing enough. And it becomes an issue. You can compete about bringing money. Who is bringing more money? You can compete about that. Oh, I'm bringing more money. You are not bringing enough. Oh, I'm working hard. You are not working. Some people can even compete about the attention of their children. I've seen that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but for some reason, some parents can get insecure of the relationship that's between, it's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the relationship, who is, you know, the term bad cop and good cop. I don't know if that came from that.
I've seen wives turning their children against their fathers, or husbands or fathers turning their children against their mothers. Cooperation, on the other side, is when you work with each other's weaknesses. At the same time, you acknowledge each other's strength.
Yeah, cooperation is where you become each other's cheerleaders. Like,
Yes.
I see how good you do, whatever you do,
Yeah.
and I'm all for it.
Yes.
Go for it. Let's
Yes.
go for like that.
And you work with one another instead of
Yeah.
against one another.
Yes.
If it's one of you against the other, you know you are competing. If it's both of you against that thing or against those people,
Yeah.
that means you are cooperating.
And you can be going through some lots of stressful situation
Yes.
in life and not realize that you started
Competing, yes.
And it doesn't necessarily come from a bad heart as
Yes,
such.
sometimes it can be.
Sometimes it can be, there's a lot going on.
We can say justified, but if you're not careful,
maybe not justified, babe, but
yeah, maybe not justified. Sometimes there are reasons why you can find yourself there.
in that not
For example,
knowing.
if you are a mother with young children and you are spending time at home with those children alone and your husband is not home all the time, you may start feeling like they're not doing enough, they're not helping. And there you can end up into competition because it becomes you versus your husband instead of the two of you sitting down and talk about it together and find how he can support you.
Yeah, and sometimes they've had a terrible day at work too, and then
So there are reasons.
the wife has had terrible days at work too.
Yes.
It's just there's a lot going on that I feel can come against the both of you.
And you find yourself competing.
That's why you have to be very careful and
You need to be
cooperating.
watching your relationship.
Yeah.
If my wife says no to one of our children and I'm there, even though I disagree with her decision, because she has said no in the presence of the kid and I'm there, I will also say no, regardless of how I feel about the decision. In the presence of the children, we support one another.
Yeah.
And my wife will do the same. Why? Because we are not competing. We are cooperating in raising our children.
Yeah.
If we show them that there is a crack in our decisions, They will use that.
We are harming them when we do
more
that.
than we're helping them. What happens when one of the spouses is more competitive than the other, or is competitive and the other side is not competitive?
It can bring feelings of, feeling of unfairness.
Yes.
Like feeling like it's not fair. Why am I the one doing this?
Yes.
Or not feeling like I'm not good enough.
And sometimes the side that is not competitive may start to read that competition as abuse. Instead of seeing it as competition, it becomes like abuse or something. And they will build this wall of protection in relationship. Because when one side is more competitive, often they don't know if that's what they're doing, but the other side feels exploited. And if you can't talk about it, if the competitive side is not allowing you to talk about it, find external help. Because competitive people, sometimes they don't know if they've gone too far with their competition. I know there is a healthy level of competition.
Absolutely.
That can inspire you to do better.
Yeah.
But when it's competition against your spouse, sometimes it's just
doesn't help.
Unnecessary. Competition can also be a sign of insecurity.
So there could be an underlying issue, which is insecurity.
Yeah.
If you've had to prove yourself all the time
since
you were a kid.
Exactly.
If you've felt like you've never, like everything you've done was never good enough, sometimes you find yourself competing, trying to prove that you can do this and this and this and this. And then, it causes issues and your spouse suffers from that. So again, this is something to have a conversation about again.
Yes. And how do you know you are being unhealthy with your competition? If you feel bad when your spouse is bringing more money than you, if it starts to create something in your heart, it's unhealthy. You shouldn't feel bad. It shouldn't affect your heart. When your spouse is being promoted at work and you are still at the same level, or when your spouse gets more clients, customers at work. Yes.
Yeah, or even if they can do certain things really well.
Yes.
Like there's things that they can do.
They do
really well.
Yeah.
And and that can make you feel uncomfortable sometimes.
Yes. For example, everywhere we go, people praise my wife for her beauty, and I'm just there. I'm like, you don't see how handsome I am. Can't you talk about this? Handsome man. No.
Very handsome.
I don't really
You're handsome to me.
care because I receive a lot of
Sometimes
praises.
You're the one saying, yes, I'm like, what?
Yes, that's my attitude. Like, she is beautiful. Like, people in the shop will be like, oh, you are beautiful. I'm like, yeah, she is beautiful. I feel good when she's being praised. But I've seen couples where when someone is being praised about something, it doesn't need to be beauty. It can be something else. Talent or skill. And you see like the other side is a little bit uncomfortable. It's unhealthy. When you feel something in your heart about your spouse's success or promotion or praise, if you feel it, then you need to deal with it. That's unhealthy competition.
Yeah.
How about when one of the spouses doesn't want to help with chores in the house? How do you handle that?
Again, everything can be fixed with the conversation, I think. If you have a good communication, if you are willing to talk about anything and everything, I think that can be fixed.
Yes.
Because even if you don't find a solution, the both of you can find help somewhere, or someone who's going to help you to deal with that.
Yeah.
But communication, talk about this, find out why. Because some people don't like certain chores.
Yes. Some people don't like to wash the dishes. They don't like to touch water.
Some people don't like that. So find a way. I don't know. Have a conversation. Talk about this.
I'm uncomfortable with the way society has treated mothers. I'm really uncomfortable with the way we only celebrate women when they work, like outside of the house, and they come home, they also cook and do all the things.
Do it all.
Yes. I think we are demanding women to be superhumans. to do all of them. I understand. Some women get energized by working outside of the home, which is fine. And I'm not against it. But I have an issue with our society not celebrating just being a woman who looks after the home and look after the children. And I think that should also be celebrated, because it takes sometimes the same amount of time or even more. It takes energy. And if you add children on top, it's a lot of work. And I don't like it when men come home and look down on women who stay home, and they say, you don't bring anything here. You don't do anything here. I'm like, I find that unfair. And because of that, we've created a generation of women who try to do everything. They try to be everything. They want to be successful in businesses, successful in their career there outside, and at the same time successful at home. Or they will ignore one, and I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy. If you feel like you have to do something so you can prove
yourself to someone else,
there's
a good level of proving to yourself. Because
I agree.
But if you have to prove to someone else about something, if you feel like you have to do things so that you can prove other people,
it's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy.
It's
very harmful.
It's unhealthy. I believe women can work if they want to. And if a woman chooses to stay home, she should be celebrated for that. That's the point I'm trying to make. She should be celebrated for that. And the husband should praise them. All this, not only the husband, the children. Society should praise someone who chooses to look after the home. In fact, the home is where life begins. Home is, someone has to look after home, because home is where life begins.
What about if the husband chooses to be at home? What do you say about that?
Okay, I'm not. I don't think I would say it's wrong for a wife to go to work and husband to stay home. I don't think it's wrong. I think the majority of women. Okay, let me put it another way. The majority of people who feel comfortable to stay home and look after the home are women.
Yes, but there is.
And the majority of people who feel like going out and win the bread are men.
I'm talking about
the majority.
The 1%.
So if we have 1% of men who want to stay home, if the wife is the type of person who wants to go out and look for bread, fine. I'm comfortable. I'm
cool.
Not really. It's not a rule like you can't break. It's just.
I think.
My point is not one against the other.
No. Yes.
I'm not against men staying home. I'm just for women who stay home to be celebrated. That's my point. That's my point.
And men who wants to be home, they need to be celebrated too.
Yes.
Because
I'm not personally encouraging like a man will decide to stay home.
Well, man, if you want to stay home, that's cool.
If it's that how you want to design your marriage, fine. But if it's laziness, I don't encourage it.
No, we're talking about someone who wants to do it. They want to stay home and look after the home. It's not laziness. They look after the children. They cook the food, clean the house.
I have an issue, babe.
You have an issue with that?
Yeah, I don't want people to do things they want to do. I want people to do things they need to do.
Yeah, but
let me explain myself. Let me explain myself. If a woman feels like going to work, but there is a demand on children to stay home and look after them, they need to stay home. They don't have to go to work because they want to go to work. That's my point. If a man needs to go to work and make money and come to provide home, they need to go to work. But if they want to stay home and they need to go to work, they should choose to go to work, not to be, because some men can just want to stay home.
No, we're talking about the one who wants to stay home because they want to look after the home, because the wife wants to go to work. So I'm
okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with the situation where they agree together.
Yeah, it's an agreement.
They agree together that the man will stay home.
Yeah.
But if there are children under 3, let me even say, psychologists recommend that a child needs the mother until, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
I will push it even to 9 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That age there, a child needs their mother. Without exaggerating, I think it's
it's
healthy that a child stays with the mother until the time that the mother can go out.
Again, what we're saying is this is a couple who have agreed on something.
Yes.
They've agreed that one of them is going to stay home.
Yes.
The other one's going to go to work. We don't care if it's the man. We don't care if it's the woman.
No problem.
Yeah. So they've agreed.
What
we care about here is that communication, that agreement, that intention to make it work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It leads us to suggest that we work together, not against one another.
Yes.
We work together. We celebrate the strength of one another. I like the idea of being the cheerleader of one another.
Yes.
And do it from your heart.
I love it. Like, I just love when you're doing the things that you like doing. Like, it just makes my heart smile. If you could see my heart, it is smiling.
Let's take this outside.
Because you do everything you do so well.
Oh, thank you. You're talking about me.
I'm talking about you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everything you do it really well with passion, and you were just in your zone. And some of the things that make me fall in love with you, it's because I was seeing you were doing things, just you're in your element, and I'm like, I like this.
I love it when we do things together.
So I don't see where
we do this
from.
podcast together. We pastor a church together. We do music together. We are raising our children together. We do almost everything together. So there are opportunities for us to compete. There are opportunities for us to compete.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to God because we learned to cheer each other's up.
Yeah.
For example, when we lead worship, you lead most songs.
Yeah.
I don't think even if I lead.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because you are comfortable in it, and I see how you do it so well.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to just support to see how you are doing it well.
Yeah, it's funny when we're doing worship, I'm not even worried about the music. Like, I'm not even thinking about it.
Because
I know you're there. I'm like, it's work.
I find that to be my mandate.
Fine. I'm just singing.
To be the one looking after the band while you are leading worship at church. I feel that blessing of celebrating your skills, celebrating what you bring. It's not always easy. I'm also a singer. I'm also a worship leader. But when it comes to worshiping together, I sing when I feel. But I just feel like when it comes to preaching, you don't care when I preach or when you don't preach.
I love it when you're preaching. So much. Like, I would listen to you forever.
I've seen couples compete when it comes to talent.
Yeah. I've heard someone says, it's now my time to do this. Because I'm like,
Yes.
Okay.
It's now my time.
It seems like it wasn't, it did not, the way it was before wasn't good. So
it was good that time. Give me an example, because I've heard that. I've heard it's now my time.
Like one of the spouse would feel like, okay, I've let you do this and this and this and this and this.
Yes.
I think now it's my time to do this and this and this. I'm not sure if they're saying that because they feel like they've been abused, or not abused, that's a big word, but they've been neglected or
maybe
felt like they couldn't do whatever that is.
There are incidents that it can be competition. If, for example, you say, it's now my time of working, you stay home. Why? You need to explain why. Why do you think you are less valuable because you stay home, or what? But it can be healthy if you say, it's now my time to study. Now you take care of the house because I also want to study. I understand in that case it's reasonable that you say it's my time. But
that's good.
If it's just about competition so that you can both have the same outcome, I think it's not about 50-50. Marriage is not about 50-50. If I bring 20,000, you also have to bring 20,000. If I have 2 days holiday, you also have to have 2 days holidays. I think it's unhealthy to be in that place, in that position where you try to compete with one another. And one more thing I would add, babe, is a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage is about rhythm, not about balance. What is balance? Balance is 50-50. Balance is you stay home one day, I stay home one day. You know, you work 3 days per week, I work 3 days per week.
Rhythm is
rhythm, on the other hand,
checking the season.
It is, yes, understanding
Gauging.
seasons.
It's like a mixer.
Understanding
Mixing,
where
like,
you are.
whereas-
For example,
Is that a mixer?
yes, it's a
Oh,
mixer.
it's a mixer.
It's
You
a
like it?
mixer. Yes,
I know it's a mixer.
it is. You know, rhythm is you are in a season where you require more attention. We give it to that attention. You're in a season where, for example, you are raising young children. We understand that they need their mothers more. So that's rhythm. Like it's about understanding where you are and which who needs what in that season. That is the rhythm. So don't always think balance. Always think rhythm, and always check those seasons, because seasons always change. Now we are raising teenagers. The season has changed.
I love raising teenagers. It's the best.
The pressure of raising children on us is not the same as raising babies, young
It's
kids.
different.
It's different. It's not the same. Oh, the demand is not the same. There is a time they need to be fed, to be changed, to be this. Now they don't. So the demand on us is different.
Yeah.
And even the boys when they become teenagers, the need for them to be with me, the dad, is even increased. Yeah, we spend more time with them. I spend more time with them now than when they were kids. It was just playing together. But now they require each one of them individually to exchange with me.
Yeah.
That is rhythm. You understand the season and you understand how to manage it.
Thank you so much for stopping by our YouTube channel. If you got something out of it, please share it with someone, like and subscribe and leave a comment.
See you next time.
See ya.